Daggone, she come on out, didn't she? What's up, Gary? What's up? I guess Dan. All right, so what we got to do right now is we got to. Let me show you. I have to take the I have to take the rack and pinion that's on this. I'm doing well. I hope you are. I have to take the rack and pinion and let it drop down because these jokers, I did not catch it. These jokers have welded the steering linkage. So they have welded all the U-joints and they put screws in them. So I can't take it apart. I wish I'd have seen that when the engine was out, but it's okay. So I'm gonna drop the rack because there's nothing in that bottom. When you see that right there, there's no bolt or nothing in there. It's just sitting there. So it can't come out because everything's welded together. So I'm gonna drop the rack so I can slide that shaft. I'm gonna drop that, slide that shaft out so I can figure out what in the world I got going on. Because I have a new steering column. I have a new steering column right here. Have a new steering column for a, so I got a new steering column. I was turning on all comments. So I got a new steering column for the 63 Impala, and it's double D on the end. What's up from Sweden? What's up, Tommy? So this is a double D. So it looks like a D on that side and a D on that side. So that's a double D. So with that being said, that's what I'm going to do. That's what I got to do. So they welded it all, which is crazy. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this. They put rack and pinion on this Impala. I did not do this. Somebody done this. They put a piece of angle iron and they made it work. So, and the guy that owns the car, he's drove it. He didn't do this. He bought the car like that. So, with that being said, I'm going to take this bolt out and this bolt out. I'm not going to unhook it from here, and I'm going to get some wire, and I'm going to let this rack just drop down. I got to take these fittings off anyway, so we'll just let it drop down a little bit, and then I'm going to see if I can take one of those screws out that they put in there and see if I can slide the upper out of the lower so we can take that whole mechanism out and put it on the table and see what they got going on, and then go ahead and order all new U-joints. So we're good to go on that. So that's that on that. Well, open your eyes. So that's what we're going to do on that. What's up, Gary, from Australia? So we're going to take this other bolt out. We're going to take this other bolt out on this other side. We're going to drop the rack down a little bit, and then we're going to put the car down and see what we can come up with. And these bolts here are 15/16. So, there's a little hinky in there, ain't it? Man, that thing wasn't on there. That thing wasn't on there but about 2 or 3 threads. What's up, Mick? What's up, Lee? Hey, Lee, I'm glad you're on here, Lee. I got a question for you, Lee. I have an original, on this 63 Impala, I have the original heater box and the heater coil, which is a new heater coil. It looks new. The original heater box with the fan and all that. If anybody's interested in it, because we took that off. And I know some cars out west, they didn't even come with heat, you know, so. I have no idea what's gonna happen. This thing might be under pressure. I guess they threaded it. All right, we're gonna go and pull the car down. We're gonna go and set the car down. What's up, everybody? I never walk under a car when the locks are unlocked. I just don't. Hope everybody's doing good. I don't know if YouTube's gonna act right today, but I know yesterday everything was down. Amazon was down, Delta was down, Snapchat was down, Instagram was down. There was a lot of stuff. Hold on a second, what happened? Me neither. What's up, Cars? What's up, Gary? Elko, Nathan. Yeah, 63 Impala. We got to pull the rack and pinion off of it. Well, there we go. She's locked. What's up, Grease Spot? Yeah, we gotta. They have welded this together, and I can't get in here to fix that. Honestly, I should have done this when the engine was out, but I didn't. I thought I didn't see the welds because it had dirt and stuff on it, but they welded all this together and just slid it on here. And then I'm hoping that I can drop the power steering rack that they put on here, take this screw out right here, rotate it, take this screw out, take this U-joint from this, and then slide that up because they welded that onto that. See, it's a thinking game, you know what I mean? So, they didn't anticipate, they didn't think about somebody else working on it, you know what I'm saying? So now I have to figure out, because we got a new rack, or excuse me, a new steering column. New steering column came yesterday. Here's the new steering column. So I am going to drop the rack and pinion and see if, and I'm not going to take it loose from the wheels, the tie rod is. I'm just going to loosen the rack, drop the rack, and also I got to get these fittings off because I got to go have fittings made that goes from this rack to this Holley power steering pump. And then I'm going to try try to slide this down, take that screw out, and then slide this back that way. And then I need to tighten that U-joint right there. See that? And they put a jam nut on the other side, which is up behind the airbags. Yay! So we're going to get on the floor. Get on the floor. Get on the floor. Get on the floor. And we got to get some wire loom so we can hide all these wires. Boy, there's a lot of pressure on that one. We might not ever get this thing bolted back up. We learning together on this one, boys and girls. Somebody has fabricated and put rack and pinion on this 63 Impala with brackets made out of angle iron. So they ain't no telling what's gonna happen. I'm just gonna be honest with you. They ain't no telling. There is no telling. No telling, boys and girls, no telling. Let me go get a persuader. I mean, I'm telling you, this is a first for me on this. This is a first. Homemade bracket. Somebody made a homemade bracket. Homemade rack and pinion. What they do is drive that sleeve. It looks like they drove that sleeve all the way into Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, I'm being easy with it. You think it would come on down? Come on down, it's like the Price is Right. That's why I brought the car down, because I'm rocking the whole car. And if the car falls, it don't fall far. You know what I'm saying? Let's get up. Let's get up here and look at something. There's nothing hooked up other than, there's nothing hooked up but this, but there's no screw in that. There's a screw there. They put a screw here, and then they welded that to that, and then they welded that to that, and then they didn't put no screw in that one. Then they put a screw in this one, but they didn't weld it. And then they slid this rod through this heim joint, and it's welded up there. Oh no, it ain't got a, it's like 6 inches. Oh yeah, what I'm trying to get it to do is get this to fall down so it slides out of that. See, that's not even attached. I tried to turn the wheel. Like, I tried to turn the wheel. I couldn't even turn the effing wheel. Because I was just going to rotate it and take that screw out. And then try to slide that out that way. But I can't even turn the effing wheel. And I mean, I drove the car up here. Took the old column out. Here's the old column. Look, that sun gun just hanging out. Look. He just hanging out. Look. Come on, solid gun. Get on up here. Come on. Yeah, it's not turning. Raise the front end up. It's on the lift. The front end is raised up. See, here's the old steering column. Here's the old column. Yeah, it's not hooked up. It don't have no pressure on it. The lines are not hooked up. Let me see if I can set y'all down right here. Oh yeah, he hiding from the chickens, that's for damn sure. See, I can't even turn it. And that's the problem when you try to turn it. This right here is loose. This is loose. All right, we're gonna have to get a little rough with it. Y'all just have to hang tight. We're gonna see what happens. It's gotta come down. That's what they did. They welded the sleeve. That's what they did. They welded the sleeve to the angle iron and then slid it on there. Let me show you. No, that's what they did, look. They welded a sleeve to the angle iron and then slid that over the sleeve. I believe we got it, boys and girls. I believe we got it. Yay! Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Ha ha! We got it, boys and girls. We got it. That's what they did. They welded a sleeve to that angle iron and then slid the sleeve into that. Huh. Interesting. We learned together, boys and girls. It's always a thinking thing. Hey, look, I got me a new screen for my phone. I just got to put it on. Are you serious? That thing is locked up tighter than Witch's hat band. What's up, TJ? Look, it's froze up. I had an Apple. I had an Apple screen on my phone. I destroyed that son of a gun. It was $90. I don't know where it's at. It was $90. It was $90 for the screen, lifetime warranty. Right? I cracked one. I go back in there. I go to the Apple store, and I say, I got an Apple screen on my phone, and I need to fix it. Now it was thick. They took it off. They got a new one. They put a new one on there, and they said $20. I said, why is it $20? It's free replacement. I paid $100. Oh yeah, it's free replacement, but it's $16.99 for us to put it on. I was like, you got to be shitting me. Let me put it on. No, you can't put it on. So I cracked it again a few months later. Go in there. They put it on there. I said, piss on it. I ain't doing that no more. Let's get a little persuasion. Let's get a little persuasion on it. Man, we should have done this before we put the engine in. I got to be careful. I guess that heim joint's screwed up. I know it's loose right there. Sweet Lord, baby Jesus. So now it looks like we're going to have to take the airbag out to get to the backside. Or it's just, maybe it's just rusted on there and it's just froze up if I can get it out. But if the heim joint is overextended and it's stuck, then, boys and girls, then I'm going to have to take the daggone. I'm going to have to pick it up, take the damn airbag out, get up behind it. Get up behind it, take the heim joint out so I can get that whole mechanism out. I was hoping. How you been doing, TJ? How you been doing, TJ? And somebody's probably gonna say, why don't you use a hammer? Well, I can't get in there with a hammer without tearing nothing up. And this is old damn, this ain't old. I mean, this is a damn snap-on, snap-on, snap-on. This thing right here is a damn hammer. What you talking about? That's what it is, look. That's why I couldn't turn it. That shit is locked up like, that thing is locked up like tight, baby. Well, at least the bottom piece come out. And see, they didn't even, see, that's splined. Look. See, that's splined? Because that's splined. That right there is splined. Hold on. That's splined, but they didn't have nothing in it because it couldn't go nowhere. That's probably a 7/8. Let's see if we can tighten that bolt up. There's a 1 inch. Let's see if we can tighten that up, maybe. No, it ain't a 1 inch. Must be an inch and an eighth. Let's go get an inch and an eighth. Maybe if we tighten it up, maybe we can put a pair of that's an inch and a 16th, inch and an eighth. Let's see if we can tighten up that jam nut, and then we'll take a pair of not an adjustable, but a pair of take a tight pipe clamp or a pipe wrench and see if we can force it to turn. Yep. Must be an inch and an eighth. Inch and an eighth is the winner. I guess we're gonna do this with 2 hands, boys and girls. Y'all gonna have to stay right here and live with me for a second. I'm gonna stay right there. Boy, I about made a mistake. I need to go to Harbor Freight and get me some shipping blankets. Put over these nice, clean inner fenders. Boys and girls, it looks like it's serious. It looks like that shaft is stuck. Looks like it's froze up. It didn't have no anti-seize on it. So when I turn the heim joint, or I turn the nut, let me show you. Let me show you. So when I go to try to turn that jam nut, watch the heim joint. See that? The heim joint is turning. The heim joint, this is turning on the ball. Oh, I didn't even see the comments. What's up, 87? So, when you turn this jam nut, that heim joint is froze up. So that tells me that this heim joint is no good. This right here's got a lot of rust scale on it. What's up, 87? What's up, Angie? What's up, Elko, Gary? So, we can put a little heat on the situation. We can do that. Yeah, that's right there. OG6. Yep. I got a call about them parts today, too. I'm glad you said something, Nathan. So, we can... we're going to have to take this out. So, that means we're going to have to pick the car up. We're going to have to let the air out of this bag. I got to see how they got the airbag bolted up. Yeah, I'm going to walk up there and get I'm going to go up there and get it here in a second. We getting there, T-Drama. We getting there. Still going to have to take the airbag out. Because if this heim joint is in failure mode because it's stuck to this and we heat it up and we get it out. If this right here, if this heim joint is questionable, we still got to get it out. So we're still going to take the airbag out, and I'm still going to have to order another one. And we're going to have to put a new heim joint. I don't do business like that. I'm not putting old stuff back, questionable. So they have welded these U-joints to themselves. And then they run a screw through them. So you got 2 heim joints here, or 2 universal joints here and here. And then we're gonna need another one. We're gonna need another one for here. This is the new steering column. So this is a double D. So if you don't know, it's a D this way and it's a D that way. So it's double D. So we're going to have a U-joint. Hey, I appreciate that, Nathan. I appreciate that, 87. So this is a double D, because look, it looks like the letter D. See? The letter D and then the letter D. That's why it says double D. All right? So you got a D on one side. If you was to look at it like that, that's a double D. And then if you rotate it, it's another double D, right? So that's the new column. That's from Speedway Motors. Hey, look, here's something else, boys and girls, I tell you. When y'all get these little silicone gel bags, y'all need to save these and put them in like a medicine bottle, and use those things for other stuff, like to keep moisture out of stuff. So we're going to need another U-joint here that goes from double D to round. And then we're going to need a round to a spline. See that? That's splined, because that's on the rack and pinion. And then we're going to need another one that's round to round. And we're going to need another heim joint. Damn, I wish I'd have done this when the engine was out. Oh, well. Oh, well. Got sidetracked. Yes, sir. I appreciate it. I appreciate it, fellas. So let's walk up here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to set y'all right here, because when I walk up to the woodshed to get my little torch that I use for my water stove, you'll probably lose signal, and I don't want it to buff out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set you boys right here. Y'all can look at the engine. Y'all can look. Hold on a second. Let me get you. Y'all can look at this eye candy right here. Look at this eye candy right there. Y'all can look at that right there. And I'll be right back. Y'all hang tight. Let me go up here and get this little torch. Y'all play nice now. Y'all play nice. Got my little fire starter. Y'all play nice while I was gone? Y'all play nice while I was gone? All right. So this is my little fire starter. This is what I use up there at the camp. Up the fire. I got a water stove. Get it. It's a 54. Same thing. It's a 54. Same thing. 53 and 54 is the same. The grill and the taillights are different. You gotta be careful with these little torches. You can't turn them up too far, like rock them, because the propane will run up the nozzle and cut it off. It ain't no rag joint. They universal swivels, but this right here is rusted, and I don't see what I'm talking about. If you rock it too far, the propane, the liquid will the. All right, let me tell you what just happened. So let me tell you what happened. So what happens with these little torches? What's up, Tulu? So when you take these little torches right here, they're pretty good like this, but it's liquid, right? Propane's liquid, and then it goes to a gas. If you go too far, what happens is the liquid runs up the nozzle and it cuts it out. It cuts it out. Why don't you use the hose that is made for doing that? What hose are you talking about? Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I don't have no hose. Yeah, Rich Hammer. Yep. I said earlier I should have took this out before we put the engine in it. I'm not going to get in here with a hammer and hit something. This damn $400 snap-on wrench is probably harder than a hammer. So it'll work. It'll work. Mac, don't be telling me that, Mac. Don't be telling me that. If I can't get it to come out this way, we got to take the airbag out so we can take that. If I can't get it this way, Mac, we're going to have to take the damn airbag out to get to the backside of it. See, the problem, it won't turn in that universal joint or that Heim joint. Yeah, I know, right? Well, you see that Heim joint? It's froze. I could crawl on there and hit the back side of it. Well, that's about the end of that, boys and girls. So this is what we're going to have to do. We at the 40-minute mark. I'll check on that, Carrie, but we don't have a farming fleet around here. Clamp that joint down in some vice grips. Well, he's going to use a, I don't know if I can, let's see, the problem is I don't have nowhere to get to it. Wait, it's gonna, that U-joint is, that Heim joint's no good. All right. Let me show you what I got going on. Here's the airbag. Here's the airbag. It's got one bolt there. It's got one bolt there. It's got a bolt there, a bolt hole, but there's no bolt. And then on the other side, there's no bolt. I take it that this bolt is the bolt that holds the perch at the top. So they only have 2 bolts in the plate that's holding the airbag in the car. And then this is probably holding the perch at the top. So we at 45 minutes. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna let the air out of this bag. I'm gonna take this bolt and this bolt out. And by doing that, I should be able to take this bolt out, and then the whole airbag, I can take this plate and pick it up, and then there's a 7/16 bolt that bolts this plate to the airbag. Then I can take the airbag out. Then once I get the airbag out, the heim joint bolt is up behind this bag. Lovely. So, with that being said, I don't know what I'm gonna get into. Look at them inner fenders, boy. I don't know what I'm gonna get into. Y'all know I like to run these lives about 50 minutes. So let me see what I got going on. I gotta let the car back down. I gotta let the air out of this bag by itself. And then once I get the air out of this bag and the pressure's out, then I'll take this bolt and then pick it up and then take this bolt out. And then once I get everything loose, I'll go back live and I'll show you how we get it out. I'm just not going to waste time because I don't know exactly how they got everything going and then get this airbag out. Because see, this bag's got air in it. So we have to get the air out of it. And then once I get the air out of it, then I can reroute the line. Shoosh. So if you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. I'm gonna call on parts on this. This is the 84 Cutlass. I gotta figure out what y'all don't mind the mess. And then we have, y'all hadn't forgot about Soul Eater, have you? So this is Soul Eater. This is a 68 C10 with a TKM 408 stroker in it. This guy only had a cab and a title. I've done everything else. This is cold air intake. It actually goes in the bumper, comes up, comes around, comes back through here, and goes there. What's up, cars? The new seat is down there in the paint booth. So we'll get back on this one soon enough. I'm trying to, and then we got the box truck, and that's the 68 Le Mans. So, yeah, me too. So, I'm going to try to test everything I can test on this gauge cluster to see if I can get it to work. The client wants to see if I can try to get this one to work. So we're going to go from that. But yeah, not me stupid. But yeah, this is, I got to make some engine covers. All this is aluminum. All this was built in-house, the bumpers, all that. So fresh air runs up through there. Runs up through that intercooler pipe, runs into the custom air box, comes out of the custom air box, runs through here and into the engine. This is the aluminum. This aluminum pipe right here is for the radiator hose. All these clamps will be took off. Sound like a Tom and Jerry cartoon. Custom exhaust. All this was built in-house. V-band clamps. So, but yeah. And it's a 5-speed. Come on, come on. So, and let me give some shout outs to somebody. Carolina Big was here, and he's like, hey, Jay, you know you can take that out and put that in there? I was like, I did not know that. So now I know. So Carolina Big showed me that when he was here that day. So give Carolina Big his flowers. So that's that. So I appreciate every single one of you. So let me go out here and get this crap done. Oh, yeah. I got the new box installed yesterday. I know the live went stupid yesterday. So this is the old box. This is the old box. This is the new box. It came yesterday. This is the wrong box. They pretty much told me to just put this in the counter and keep it. They said, don't even worry about sending it back. So take it off. What? So we got this, and then I got to do a firmware update, and then maybe we can start cutting some parts. Because we're going to, this is 10 gauge, so we're going to start cutting strips out of this, and this right here is going to be to reinforce the 84 Cutlass. We're going to box all this in. Spray, yeah, Caroline, yeah, Cars, I was going to send you that and let you see what you look. Actually, and we're changing out the rear end. We're taking this GM rear end out. We're going to John's. John's got a 9-inch, so we're going to put a 9-inch underneath it. So we're taking this rear end out, and we're putting a 9-inch. So yeah. So boys and girls, I appreciate every single one of you. And also, give you little tidbits on OG6. John has found me an engine and a 6-speed automatic transmission. So we're gonna go, maybe tomorrow, if I can go, we'll go tomorrow, and if everything checks out, we're gonna get the engine for OG6. And while I'm over at John's, I'm gonna pick up the 9-inch rear end, and then moving forward. I already have the engine mounts. They should be the same. I already have the engine mounts for OG6 right here. So here's the engine mounts. So we'll get those put in, and we might go ahead and set the engine and transmission in there to get everything mocked up. What? John Kelly. Yes, I'm anal about correct speech. What are you talking about? John? What are you talking about, man? What are you talking about correct speech? What? What are you talking about correct speech? You want me to give a speech? What? I don't understand. So I don't understand. So, yeah. So we got all that. I did have to take the THC, the torch height control, computer chip out of this one and put it in this one. And I had to take this out of this one and install it in this one. I got to put those screws in the bottom. But everything came on yesterday. Johnny from Langmar, we went through everything. I have to do so I got to do some malware update and some software update, and I got to install I got to update 2 drivers, which is the torch control driver and the Z driver. I have to update that, or update it, and then we're good to go with the new software on that. And then we can I'll move this plate out of the way. I'll put some scrap plate up there, and we'll do some test runs to see everything's good, and we'll go from there. So everything's good to go. But yeah, this is for the XR table. This is for the big table. So I'm just going to wrap it back up in the bag, put it in a box, put it up, and then just put it in a corner. This is a lot of money sitting here, but he said, man, just keep it. So that's what we're going to do. I told him if he ever wants it back, just drop an email with a return label, and I'll send it back, because I don't need it. But there is some extra parts in here that like Cars in the Cut said, just save it up, because some of the stuff was bad. We don't know what was wrong. But like I say, it's extra parts. But hopefully this right here fixes everything. This is the updated version. So hope we can start cutting out parts for stuff that I need to do. So it is what it is. We're at 55 minutes. So the objective today is see if we can get at least the steering column put in the car, get it mounted or semi-mounted. We'll take some of this little tissue stuff that they send with it. We're gonna take some of this tissue paper and we'll wrap around it so it don't scratch nothing, or put some tape on it so it don't scratch nothing when we put it in there. But the goal is to get the steering column put in. We're gonna see if we can test some of the stuff on the gauge cluster. He does not remember what worked, and he said he really don't care about the clock. The only thing he cares about is the speedo and the gas gauge. The rest of it, not so much, and the lights, not so much, the rest of it. Because, you know, he's got the handheld, so we'll just have to go in here and I'll have to ground this and power probe and see if all these little lights and stuff works, and then we'll have to check the resistance on this diode or on this resistor here to see if we can get the gauge to sweep. He's not really worried about the clock. This is the original dash cluster, November 1962, so this is the original cluster. And this is a SS cluster because it has the brush at the ends. So this is a SS cluster. And then we'll take the steering wheel off of the old steering column, and then we'll go from there. Also, the shifter is supposed to be here today too, so we can hook the shifter up to the transmission. And the dry shaft is at the dry shaft shop, and they said that the front shaft, I'll just go up here and I'll go ahead and show you. All right, so an SS or an Impala has a two-piece dry shaft. So you have the front shaft, and then it bolts right here with like a pillow block bearing, and it's fixed right here. And then you have the second shaft, which is telescopical. You can see that they cut this out, right? And then you notice in the old video, I went in here and cleaned it up and re-welded it. Well, the problem is, you see this right here? The reason why they cut this out, because when this thing had air ride on, well, the thing has air ride on it, up and down, the dry shaft was hitting this part right here. And it kind of tweaked the dry shaft. So they cut this, but you can see that it was still hitting just a little bit right there. So probably when we get the new dry shaft, I'm probably going to come in here, even though we've already waxed this or, you know, undercoated this, probably going to have to cut some more out of this so it clears the dry shaft. Also, we got to raise the tunnel up because it was hitting right there on the bottom of the pan. So I measured from here to the bolt hole, and then from here to the back of the transmission with it up, and then done the same thing with it down. And they said that we need to take 1 inch out of the dry shaft, and they need to replace the upper part because it was bent because of that. It is, and it also has a telescopical piece here that was already on it. Somebody put a telescopical piece on it. So that's going to stay, and he's also going to replace all the U-joints. So we want to make sure, it's called a carrier bearing. Well, what? It's called a carrier bearing. Okay, I appreciate it. We call it a pillow block bearing or idler bearing, but cool. What's up, Adventure on Wheels? Welcome. Also, when we got the correct transmission mount that they had in there, we found the right one. I'm pretty sure it's the right one. So we'll put that in there, and then we'll be good to go. And then when the new shifter comes, we'll put the new shifter in, and we'll be good to go. Yeah, Hollywood, big fat donkey. Hollywood, come here. What is it? What is it? What is it? What is it? Yep. So that's that. So he just wants to make the bottom nice. We did a disc brake conversion. Oh yeah, no worries. It's cool, man. No worries. Yeah. So we made the bottom nice. We put disc brake conversion on it. We bed lined. We bed lined these brand new inner fenders. There's a video of me doing that if you want to see how I do that. Then we painted the inner side under hood black. It has a new. This is the engine it has. Has a new blueprint engine. New blueprint engine. Fuel injection. So we did a disc brake conversion. It has fuel injection on it. Has a Sniper 2 system. Has the Holly mid mount. We're waiting on some wire loom so we can hide all the wires in the engine bay. It does crank and run, but it doesn't run right because the O2 sensor is not hooked up. So once I get the transmission, drive line, and all that done, he said the car did not have emergency brakes because when they put a 700R in it, that it didn't have emergency brakes because it had a 700R in it. So it does have, I did rebuild the rear end, did disc brake conversions on the back. Did disc brake conversion on the back, went with the GM style, so it has the external emergency brake cable. He says that you have to make a special bracket to run the emergency brakes because the original ones come right through here, and when it had a 2-speed power glide, now it has a 700R, so it has to be a special bracket and all that mess. So we'll just have to figure that out. And then also I got brackets coming. I got to make some brackets and some clips to tuck up the fuel injection line. So it's just hanging right now, so don't freak out. Don't be PC correct. It's like, hey, you can't ride like that. I know we can't ride like that. But it comes out right here on the tank. Drilled a hole in the original tank or in the factory tank. And this is the return that comes in the Holley Sniper 2 kit. This is the input. So you got a pre-filter. Then there's the fuel pump. And then you have a post filter, and it runs all the way up to the car. And then your return line, it comes back, because with Sniper 2, you have to return it, and it dumps right back into the tank. So that's that. And we'll go, I'll show you one more thing while we're on here. I don't walk under the car. I'll show you the engine for the ones that's new to the channel. I'll show you that. Yeah, this guy don't want to paint the car or nothing like that. He just wants to make a good driver. She's a screamer. Yeah, it's a nice build. I appreciate it. It's a nice build. It's not over the top. He came yesterday. He's super excited. He don't want a fancy show car. He don't want, all this custom stuff. He just wants to get in this thing and just ride. He just wants to ride. The interior of this thing is nice. It's got nice interior. It's got nice interior in here. It's got nice interior. He's getting a speaker for there and a speaker for the dash. I got to make a new bracket for the air ride controller. I pulled all the wires. It has vintage air too, so I got to bed line the trunk. Here's a remote battery. This battery's for the pumps. That's all that battery's for. I got to hook the radio. See, there's emergency brake cables. There's the radio. We got to put the radio in it. Has the new Gen 5. I put the new Gen 5. Put the new Gen 5 AC system in here. There's the ductworks. There's the air controller. It was bolted to the bottom of the dash, but since this can't be there no more because of the AC system, he said just make something to hold it for now. And if he finds a console for an SS, then we'll move it. So this is the one we need to deflate right now. I appreciate that, Gary. Appreciate that, Gary. So the front driver's side bag is completely empty. So now when I can go do my other stuff. So yeah, we sprayed wool wax on this one. We normally do bed liner, but we did wool wax on this one to save a little bit of money. So the fuel comes here, comes into this. This is the Aeromotive fuel pressure regulator. We went with this one because Holly was out. This one right here also has a, so here's your fuel. Your fuel line comes in, it goes in the Sniper 2, it comes out of the Sniper 2, it comes back and goes to the fuel pressure regulator, then it goes to the tank. A lot of people's probably gonna say, you got the fuel pressure regulator on the wrong side. Nope, this is the way Holly wants you to do it. Holly wants you to have the fuel pressure regulator on the return side, not the input side. This little hose right here is for boost reference or supercharger or nitrous. This car has none of those, but also the Sniper system and Aeromotive said you can actually use this vacuum port and hook it up to that pin right there on the Sniper 2 system. And when the car's at idle, sitting at the stop sign, it knows the vacuum of it, so it doesn't let it build up a lot of head pressure. It lets it bypass, so it's just not building up. And then when you're on the road and you go in the throttle, and it sees that the engine is pulling more vacuum, because that's the only thing an engine is anyway, is an air pump. It's a big old air pump. That's all it is. So when it detects this has more vacuum, then it adjusts in here and allows you to maintain fuel pressure better so you don't run out on the other end. All this will be wire loomed, so don't be freaking out. This is the wire loom that I use. So once we get the wire loom, all this down here will be heat shrinked or heat shield wrapped, and all this is the wiring, and it comes up. We got new battery ends. We're not using these. These are just for mock-up. We need a new AC. This is a 135-degree angle. We need one going the opposite direction. Then once that's done, then I can crimp the AC lines. This is the mid-mount Holley system from Holley for small block and big blocks. It's a very, very nice system. It's based off the LT stuff, so everything bolts to the water pump. There's absolutely no brackets whatsoever. There's no brackets. Once everything is said and done, all these clamps will be taken off, and I use these heat shrink clamps. So that's that. If you watched the other day where we put the fuel tank up here and we ran the engine and with the thermostat open, a lot of dirty water come out, which is all this is brand new. So I sent the email to Blueprint. Blueprint seen it and they said it's normal, but they would notate the account. And I didn't even tell the client. I forgot to tell them because it's not that important. But they notated the account and they said that this engine has a 50,000 mile warranty on it. And if anything happens, they will replace the engine and the labor to put it back. So that's awesome too. This is the temperature gauge for the dash. This is the temperature gauge for the Sniper 2. So let me tell you how this works. So the Sniper 2, in the handheld, which here's the handheld. Let me just turn the key on and I'll show you. So in the handheld, you have fan 1 and fan 2, right? So we got fan 1 and fan 2. So how this works, now again, we're gonna shrink wrap all this, so don't be freaking out on me. So right here is the 75 or 7, this is 75662, which is a 2 relay system. Now fellas, let me give y'all a little tip on Sniper 2 system and Holley system. Holley system only supports a 40 amp fan. So if you was to run this wire to the trigger side, which will be the ground side, to a fan, the Holley system can handle it, but they can't handle more than 40 amps. So Holley has got a lot of tech calls, and that these aftermarket fans are not real consistent on their amperage. So they fluctuate a lot. So what they have done is, you know, MSD has been bought out by Holley. Hold on a second, boys and girls. Y'all hang tight. Look here. Y'all hang tight. We got delivery. Y'all hang tight. Hang tight, boys and girls. Yo! Y'all hang tight. Let me go get this package. This might be our shifter. It's all right, man. Horn blows. Watch for the finger.
I apologize.
It's all right. It's all good.
It's been a long time, man. You been all right?
Yeah, I'm good.
I think last time we had one of these was covered up, and it was just a work in progress.
Yeah, that's it, man.
You did.
It's about ready to dry.
Looking good, man. Got a lot going on.
Yeah. Lawnmower. Yeah, low carb. Low carb.
I've been bidding on routes, having my own deal, but now they're trading it out, and I'm just covering stuff everywhere. This is cool by me.
Yes, sir.
Good to see you, brother. Good to have a good one. Yeah, man, you too.
Fire boys and girls, we back. We back. Back. Before we get to that, let me finish this. All right. So Holley, we'll open this package here. All right. So Holley come out with this thing right here. It's called a 2-channel relay module, 75662, and they have a 7566-4. And basically what that is 2 40-amp relays, and you can take this bus bar out, and it ends up being an 80-amp relay. So with this one, went with the 2-channel because you got 2 fans, right? So this wire right here runs straight to the hot side of the battery, This wire right here runs to the hot side of one fan. This one right here runs to the hot side of the other fan. The fans are grounded to the chassis, which is a chassis ground, right? This orange wire with a white, I think it's a white tracer. Yeah, this orange wire with a white tracer is the trigger side, the negative trigger side to the computer for the PCM for the Sniper 2. This white wire is the negative side trigger for fan number 2. So basically, what that's doing is this thermostat right here is reading 2 temperatures. It's reading, I'll catch up on the comments in a minute. This thermostat here is reading 2 temperatures. It's reading temperature for fan 1 and for fan 2. So when you go in here into your handheld and you see right here it says fan 1 sensors, right? All right, let's go right here and I'm going to show you. We're going to go to vitals. No, we're going to go back. We're going to go to sensors. Where's that? Hit home. Tuning. We're going to go to tuning. Hit tuning. You hit systems. You hit outputs. Right there. Look, see in your outputs? We got fan 1 cuts off at 160 degrees. Fan 1 comes on at 180. So what that means is once that thermostat right here, once that hits 180, and Blueprint recommends running a 180-degree thermostat. I would rather want to run a 195, but they say run a 180 in their engine. So that's what's in this thing is a 180 with a weep hole. If you get a thermostat that doesn't have a weep hole or a kettlebell, don't use it. If you do use it, drill an 1/8-inch hole in it. And what I'm talking about is, let me show you. There's some thermostats, the cheap ones, do not have bypass. And you want one with a bypass. If you don't have one with a bypass, you need to drill an 1/8-inch hole in the housing, and I'm going to show you right here on this box. So on a thermostat, when you look at the thermostat, right, you got your thermostat is right here, right? And it's got that little nipple, and then it's got the spring, right? Well, this is the metal part, right? This is the metal part. The cheap ones have no holes in the disc. The nice ones have a little thing, it looks like the letter T that is through that hole. It looks like a piece of brass. And what that is, it's like it's a little nozzle like on your pressure cooker. It just sits there and just waddles back and forth. I don't know the correct name for it, but we call it a kettlebell, right? It just sits there and just waddles back. Yep. That's that. So if you get one that does not have that, a lot of guys in their thermostat, this is looking at it from the top, right? And then it's got the temperature on the end. A lot of guys will drill 1/8-inch holes, especially race cars or high-end engines. They'll drill some 1/8-inch holes, and that lets water pass through, so you don't have no dead spots, you don't have no air pockets, you don't have nothing. So if you don't get one, I would recommend getting one with the little kettlebell and a fail-safe. You're going to spend a little bit more money, but you're going to save your engine, right? So if you get one with a fail-safe, most of the time they fail in the open position instead of the closed position. So this is 180 thermostat. The first fan comes on at 180, right? So if you see right here, the first one right here is 180. So when that sensor hits 180, it triggers on the ground side. I always do my relays on the ground side because Holly likes to trigger on the ground. Trigger everything on the ground side. That relay gets triggered by that sensor. It runs over here to trigger 1. It activates it. Once it activates it, fan 1 comes on. All right. Right here you see the second fan, I have it set at 190, right? So you can't hardly see it because of the screen. But the second fan, right there, the second fan is set at 190. So that same thermostat, that same sensor, once it hits 190, it sends a ground, low voltage, it sends a signal to this wire right here, which activates this, which activates that relay, and it turns on fan 2. And both fans will continue to run until the engine drops below 160 degrees, which is not going to do that. Now, if you don't want fan 2 to come on at 190 and you want it to come on at 200, then come on at 200, depending on where you live at. Now, this car has air conditioner as well, right? So in the wiring harness for the Sniper, it has a wide open throttle, WOT, for IAC, I think that's what it's called, for the AC to cut off. So when you go to wide open throttle, it knows you at wide open throttle. It sends a signal to the air compressor, tells the air compressor, hey, we at wide open throttle, we need that extra power. It shuts off the clutch while you're at wide open throttle because I've already run, right here's the wires, I got to run those, and then I got to hide these wires with shrink wrap, or with shrink wrap and wire loom. That's that. Now, if you hang tight, I will show you, if this son of a gun don't get right, if y'all hang tight, I'll show you how the relay stuff works, triggering the fan with a power probe, right? If you don't have a power probe, you need to get a power probe. You don't have to buy a power probe. You can buy one from Harbor Freight, right? You can buy one from Harbor Freight, but you need a power probe. This one right here will do a whole bunch of crap. You need a good test light with a digital, and you need to get that now. And you need a voltmeter. I'll tell you a little trouble that I run in on the Terminator X Max system that is not in the Holly. There is not in the Holly instructions. And I had to find out on my own with one of the techs at Holly. So let me show you how this right here works. So a power probe, you can activate a lot of stuff. It can support little stuff but you can bump stuff, you know, bump it on like fans. This thing will test injectors. This thing will test all kinds of crazy stuff, right? So, so I'm gonna show you right here. I'm gonna show y'all right here. So, right here, if you push up, that's power. If you push down, that's ground, right? So if I do this right here, look, I got a good ground. The engine is connected to the battery over there. So if I touch this, look, I got a good ground. Look, hold on. I got a good ground. 0.00. I got a good ground. The engine's grounded. Now look here, I can check the frame. Look. Let me get out from underneath. Let me get out from underneath that wool wax. Right here, now I'll change this up. I drilled and put a nut insert into the chassis, and then I'll use a 7/16 bolt for my grounds. Look, good ground. So that means everything that's connected to the chassis has a good ground, right? So with that being said, now, so you can apply voltage to turn stuff on, but this thing has a low amperage in it, so you have to bump it. Like if you was going to make the windshield washer or the windshield wiper motor come on, you could bump it to get it to come on. If you push it and hold it, it'll go against the circuit breaker and it'll break the circuit, and then it has to cool back down. You can do the same thing on like the blower motors, fuel pumps, anything. This thing's got a 25-foot lead on it. Headlights, you can go anywhere and test anything, right? Now, let me show you this right here. So we're going to make this thing act like it's the computer, and we're going to trigger this on the ground side, right? So look, see, now let me turn this off. So that's right there. So once this engine hit 180 degrees, that sensor over there will send a signal to the computer. We'll say, hey, look, we need it to come on. It will send a signal over to this orange white wire, and it will trigger it, and guess what happens? The fan comes on. Now we got a fan. And look, it's only pulling 0.02 volts on the negative side, right? Now, once that sensor hits 190, because we got it set up on the handheld, we want fan number 2 to come on at 190. This is fan number 2, right? So when it tells it, hey, look, I need the fan 2 to come on, that thing's hit 190 degrees. It sends a signal on the ground side. It activates the fan. Fan 2 comes on. See that? Fan 2 on. Look, we're only pulling 0.2 volts, or 0.02. What's up, square body? So now we got fan 2's on, and I can't do them at the same time because I only got one power probe. But fan 1 comes on at 180, right? Because we got it set in the handheld at 180 on the ground side. And then fan 2 comes on at 190 on the ground side. Oh, I hit the wrong button. You hit the wrong button. And now, so that's that. So that will help somebody out. They also have a 4-channel relay, which is the exact same thing, but it's 7566-4. So what you could do, it looks just like this, but it's 4, right? 4 relays. Let's say you needed 2 40-amp relays, and then you was running something that needed more relay. You could take the bus bar out, and you'd have 140, and an 80, right? Or you could take out both bus bars, and you got an 80-amp relay and an 80-amp relay. Now, on Vi-Air compressors, them 480 compressors, those air compressors for air ride, they need 30-amp relays per compressor. And what a lot of guys do is they'll wire it up and run one relay, and then they got all kinds of shit going wrong with it, and then they burn the pumps up. So right here, look, both of these pumps, now I didn't build this board, I just replaced their stuff. I'm not going to pull that board out because I'm just not going to do it, but I'm going to show you. So this battery right here is just for the air ride compressors. This battery is charged off of the main battery This battery does not crank the car. This battery is just for these accessories. So it's not pulling any drain off of the main battery. This is just a secondary battery just to run these compressors. This battery is also charged from the main battery with a heavy gauge wire that runs all the way back to the positive side of this. This battery is actually grounded to the chassis of the car. Then both wires come off and both compressors have both compressors have a 30 amp circuit breaker. These are fuses, 30 amp fuses, plus both compressors have 30 amp relays. So they are getting all the power that they need. There's no piggybacking off of nothing else, and there shouldn't be no drag or no lag with those compressors, and they run efficiency and they don't run hot, because if you're not getting enough voltage, they run hot. If you get too much voltage, they run hot. So that's like the three bears, the portage is just right. So it's just right on that. So with that being said, I hope all that explains everything with a little bit if somebody's doing a build. Also, let me give you this one last tip. If you're doing a Holley Terminator Max system, which is what's on this 68C10, which is a little bit more involved, a little bit more intense, I'm just going to give you a few little tips. A few little tips on the the Terminator Max system. They do not like dirty grounds. Holley doesn't like it regardless. Dirty voltage or dirty grounds. That means if it says take it directly to the battery, take it directly to the battery. If you have to extend the wire, go down in size. Meaning, if it's a 10 gauge wire and you have to extend it, go down to 8 gauge. Don't extend it with the same thing. Blake at Holley says if you have to extend our power lead, drop down in gauge. Wire is measured in gauges, so the lower the number, the bigger the wire. So their harnesses come with 12 gauge wire, and they give you a pretty amount of wire, but if you have to go an extra 3 or 4 foot, then you need to drop down from 10 gauge to 8 gauge wire. You need to use real good connectors. You need to heat shrink them. You need to connect them. You can even solder them together so there's no interference or no resistance. Also, no dirty grounds. Don't ground it to the chassis and then the battery. Go straight to the battery. Don't even put a ground lug or a positive lug and run everything to that and then run that to the battery. That is still considered dirty voltage and bad. That's dirty voltage and dirty grounds. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do it. Also, last tip on the Holley system, the Terminator X Max system, there is a wire. And I got to go in here and clean this up. There is a wire that's from the Terminator system. It's a red and white wire. In the manual, in the instructions, it tells you to take this wire and go to a 12-volt key source. Well, this is a brand new fuse box. Well, pin A right here is a 12-volt key source. So when I turn the key on, I have 12 volts. When I turn the key off, I don't have no voltage. But do I have voltage? So the problem with the Terminator Max, it is very finicky, right? So when you take this red and white wire and you stick it in this pin right here for 12 volt on and 12 volt off, every time you turn it off, you will lose your tune on your handheld. And the reason why you're losing your tune is because there's residual voltage on this pin. What is residual voltage? When you take and put a test light or a test meter, like one of those snap-on test meters up there, the little handheld, and it says 0.00, there's no voltage. And if I stick my test light up there, the light doesn't come on. But if you take a digital meter, like a Fluke or a snap-on digital meter, and you stick it up there, that thing, even with the key off, that thing's going to read 0.01 something and some change. There's residual voltage on there. Well, I told Holley, I was like, well, that is just the fluctuation in the meter itself. They said, no, that meter is picking up that residual voltage. This Holley system is so finicky. that if it picks up any residual voltage, it will wipe out the tune when the key's off. So they told me, Blake at Holly told me to do this. Now, it's not in their manual. He said take a relay, a 4-pin relay, and wire it up just like normal. Take the red and white wire, go to the relay, then from the relay to the 12-volt C. So when you turn the key off, you completely are severing the connection and you have no power going to the Terminator Max system, because every time you would turn off the key, you would lose a daggone tune. You would lose a tune. You would lose a tune. So, I hope that helps somebody out. We've been on here for 90 minutes. So, appreciate every single one of you. Hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. Remember what I said, boys and girls. I appreciate every single one of you that's tapped in this morning. We're going to try to get this airbag off and get all that. And then once that gets back, then I'll probably jump back on later this afternoon and show you what I got going on. I got to get with John from Buchanan's to see when we're taking a road trip to go get the engine for OG6, and I need to call the metal shop and see if they got that piece of 7-inch channel and that 6-inch pipe cut for us, so we can go ahead and build the chain bridge for the OG6 for the 84 Cutlass, and then see if I can get with John tomorrow so we can go and pick up the engine and transmission for this. We're going with, y'all just wait. I will tell you this, it's going to have a 6L80 in it, so it's going to have a 6-speed automatic. And I got to pick up a 9-inch rear end at John's because I'm going to put a 9-inch. So it's going to have a 9-inch, a 6L80 transmission. But just wait, what y'all see is going to be in between these frame rails. You're going to be surprised. Y'all going to be surprised. So one last thing I'll show you because somebody asked. Here's the top. Here's the top to my old car. Here's the top to my old car. Yeah. We might finish it one day. And this car right here has got a 383 stroker in it, dark block. I built this car back in 2010, fuel injection. So it's got a sniper, it's got a Phi-Tech on it. So anyways, boys and girls, remember what you said. Remember what I said, don't worry about the man up the road or down the road. Sweep off your own front porch while sweeping off anybody else's. Put God first, let loose and dry piece of them chicken grease them out.